There is so much magic in storytelling, especially when you're a speaker presenting to your audiences. However, what I find is that so often when we share stories from the stage, they lose all of their life. It's almost like we feel like we have to generalize them or make them less specific in order for the audience to relate. But it's really the opposite. The more detailed and specific we are with our stories, the more that the audience will be able to connect with them. So we have our I.D.E.A.L story ingredients acronym framework to help you to tell your stories in a better way. First, Diane, let's do an example of what we hear sometimes when we go to conferences and events and speakers are sharing what they think is a story, but they're really, again, all the life has been taken out of it. So let's do an example of maybe there's going to a dog park and you're walking your dog. So let's incorporate that into a story when we're making a point about politeness and etiquette.
Yeah, so I took my dog to the dog park and I walked in. There were some other people standing to the side and their dogs were barking like crazy at my dog. And so I just had to back up because I wasn't sure, like, why are they letting their dogs act like that? It was so strange. So, you know, I dealt with it for a little while, but then I just left.
Okay, so like what do you feel from that story? Not much, right? It's just kind of like, okay, maybe you kind of see the dogs in the dog park, but it's a little bit fuzzy, it's vague, like there's not much color to it, just kind of like, ugh. And like you don't really, not memorable, you're not going to walk away with a takeaway from that. So instead, use these I.D.E.A.L story ingredients. I is for imagery, so we want to set the visual scene. What's going on? Tell us what things look like. Where are you? D is for dialogue. What is the dialogue going on between you and the other person, or with the self-talk that's going on in your own head, because that does count as dialogue. E is for emotion. What were you feeling? What were the other people feeling? A is for action. There has to be something going on for it to be a great story. How do we get from point A to point B? Where's the action? And then L is for the lesson. What's the takeaway you're leaving the audience with? So those are the I.D.E.A.L story ingredients. Diane, let's try that from the top.
Guys, the other day, I took my dog to the dog park. Now, first of all, you need to know, I have the tiniest little dog. It's like a little nugget, right? Got my dog on the leash, so I'm just walking into the dog park like every other day, right? I come through the gate. I mean, there had to be 30 dogs in this dog park. There was a big Great Dane over there, another German Shepherd over there. Then there was an older lady, and she had 3 dogs, little tiny ones, and they were yip, 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 yip all over the place. My dog was freaking out, doing all the shaking, going behind me and hiding. I don't want to go in the dog park. None of these other dog owners were following the rules. They were just letting their dogs run everywhere. I thought, what am I going to do about it? I thought to myself, my dog is going to have a conniption fit, or possibly, worse yet, get bitten by a dog. And then what happens? So I'm thinking about this. How am I going to go up to these owners and say to them, hey, you need to get your dog under control? I summoned up my courage, and I went up to the first lady, and I said, oh, you know, it's so great to see you here. I've seen you here before. And she said, yeah, it's so great to see you. I said, you know, my dog is really terrified. Actually, if you could just keep your dog on the leash for just a few minutes while I bring my dog in. And she's like, oh, no problem. I totally understand. I felt so empowered by that. I was able to get her to see that she needed to keep her dog under control. And then other people started to see her do that, and they did it too. So she kind of set an example, and it was such a good experience for me and my dog.
What a difference, right? So you can see so much more of the scene, like it's coming to life. It's in color, the dialogue that Diane was thinking in her head and then went up to the other person, the action that was going on, the emotion that the poor little dog was feeling, who was frightened and scared, and then the emotion that Diane was feeling, and then that lesson about using your voice, empowering yourself to ask for what it is that you need and for what your little dog needs too. So use those I.D.E.A.L story ingredients whenever you want to share a key story with your audience.